So this 100% it becomes, so this is 5 star. Why? Because of number of problems we ask for the superelevation. So what is the superelevation? So when we are done for that transportation highway, so that time they will require for that horizontal curves. That horizontal curves will be required for what is that provided at this slope. So in this slope provided we require for that superelevation. So this is for that turning point. So they will require for the radius of that this one. So this is width of the road. So that's vehicle. So this much of cross sections. So this height will be required. So then our vehicle, the movement, we safely becomes in the turning points. So what is the big weight for the definition for superelevation is a transfer slope provided at this edge of the roads. So it is actually the normal superelevation formula E plus F is equal to V squared by 127 R. So this is for simply you can find for that superelevation. So this is for that what is that we written for the rate of superelevation. So sometimes E R H should be mentioned. So don't confuse. Some books written for that E, some books written for H. H R E means the height of that one edge. So that here means friction. Sometimes there will be friction becomes. Sometimes friction should be formed. So just like there is some friction factors should be involved for this one. And V means speed of vehicle. So automatically in this design means it based on speed of vehicle. Yes or no? If slowly the movement will be there, then the base means slowly will be required. So if we require the speed will be movement will be there, then required base will be required then very more. Superelevation will be required then very more. This right? So same thing that based on speeds they will be required for that this one. And so this for that finding for that superelevation for that plane areas. So sometimes they will be given for that base. So road length width. So sometimes that will be given the length width, then that will be required for the B square by GR. So this is plane without base. If you are not given that base, so then we require the finding of superelevations B square by 127 R. So if you are given that B width, so B means what is that? Width of that pavement. So then we require the formula what is that? B square by GR. So sometimes hilly area will be there. So hilly areas superelevations. So B square by 225 R. Hilly areas will require more elevations. Why? Because of the number of turn points and number of overtaking points to come, the number of that cross sections becomes. So that's why they required what is that more super elevations. So that's B square by 225 R. This much of super elevation required H plus C. So this is also then we hilly areas 100%. Friction factors will be mentioned, but at that areas no friction factor will be required. So this is for that our super elevations formula. Is right? So in this going to the problematic. So how will we work out that super elevation formula? So suppose we written for that this much of formula we are asking for that 250 meters for the radius will be there. Road radius how much will be there? So write the given data. So radius for how much? 250 meters. And it is 6 meter wide. So base will be given. So what is that? B is how much? 6 meters. And then it is 40 kilometers per hour. So vehicle speed how much that it will be given? 40 kilometers per hour. So it will require for that seconds. So how to convert that 40 kilometers per hour to 1 meter per second. So then we convert for the 40 into kilometers. Then we have the 1000 so meters by per second is required per hours. So per second hour how many seconds will be there? 60 minutes into 60 seconds. So how much from the velocity now? Yes, 11.11 meter per second. This is the velocity for that vehicle. Per second is required for the calculation. That's very reducing process for calculations. So what is the now formula? This base established now for this. So what is the formula? Super elevation. So H is equal to HRE. Both are same. So H is equal to VV square by 3R. So V means 6 meters. V means 11.11. G means 9.81. R means radius how much? 250 meters. 250 meters. So then E is equal to how much we get? 0.027% of super elevations will be required for in this problems. Okay, so they required in this problem. So next one more problem. Only for the finding super elevation without the base, without this base. So the problem will be given right from a super elevation. Where is that? 0.30%. So next super elevation of plane that we are without in this one frictionless. So what is that we are hearing for that F that will be involved. So in this problematic add frictionless. So factor will be not there. So in these super elevations, so this is raised. So now we will calculate one more problem. So now we will what is that this problematic formula we are having E plus F is equal to V square by 127R. So F is equal to frictionless will be given. Frictionless means F is equal to 0. Is right? So E plus 0 is equal to V means velocity we are finding speed of vehicle. How much? 11.11 square by 127. R means 250 meters. So then E is equal to how much? Yes, 3.35. Yes, 3.88. So 0 point something becomes that 0.003% for super elevation required for that without base values. So this much of calculations we required for finding super elevations. If you hearing for some problem we ask in hilly areas, so ask for that radius here for that time you can find for the hilly areas super elevations. So what is the formula hilly areas?